in his debut, who's fighting a 500 fighter next, who does have 6 fights of experience. And obviously, at this weight class, speed is at a premium, and Rito Susumi appears to have plenty of it, Sergio.
You like to get the snap of that punch too, man. But that comes behind technique. That's the thing about Japanese fighters too. Yes, they have power and they have speed, excellent footwork. But look at the technique as well. Elbows tucked in. He rotates the torso, the shoulders nicely. That's where all that power comes in. That it's like a bamboo power. The power comes at the end of it.
Bamboo power? You've been watching Kung Fu Panda?
No, I took that analogy from Bruce Lee, actually, you know, because, yeah, you know, you really don't want to, if you have a brick, you don't want to hit with the brick. You want to hit the snap of a brick. Kind of like a golf swing, Todd.
There you go. Now you're talking my language.
Like a whip. Yeah, like a whip. That's what they say about Ryan Garcia's hook, right?
There you go.
Is that it's a whip. I've talked to many guys that spar him. They're like, yeah, he doesn't have thudding power, but he hits you, and you don't know how you ended up on the ground. A lot of the Japanese fighters have that same beautiful technique. It's effortless is really what it is. It's as little effort as possible to get maximum results in your stuff.
And believe
it saves you energy, and it gives you that power lasting through the round.
And believe it or not, Wade, it's very difficult to learn, you know, to try to make it so natural. Most fighters, they make a lot of noise when they punch. They grunt. It's the opposite when you have whipping power. You do it effortlessly, like you said, and
that's why I think Rito got a perfect test in his first fight.
Susumi! What a ride he's been on. 2 pro fights, both of them happening halfway around the world in New York City. Not sure if we'll hear from Rito. He does not speak English, and I don't believe we have a Japanese translator here, although I did take Japanese in college.
Hit us. Oh, okay, I was going to say, hit us with some of it, Todd.
Biru o nomimasu ka means, would you like to have a beer with me?
Konnichiwa.
Close enough. All right, hey, Claudia, I believe is going to try and conduct an interview. Let's hear from her.
See, well, we're still waiting for Rito to get unwrapped. Would you mind? Thank you very much. That was a beautiful work, extraordinary footwork, and a lot of power. Where did you get that technique from?
そのテクニックを学んだんですか？
そうですね、今回3週間ほどアメリカで合宿してきたので、すごいいい状態でここまで迎えることができました。
I was able to train 3 weeks in the West Side, and that's where I learned the technique.
This is only your 2nd professional fight, and you're already in the mecca of boxing in the Big Apple, New York. What are your thoughts about that?
大きい舞台ですが、どう思います？
そうですね、前回いいすっきりした倒し方で勝ちたかった気持ちあったんですけど、それができなかったので、今回、前回の反省を生かして倒しきるところまで持っていけたらいいなというふうに思ってます。
Last time I wasn't able to finish the boxing like I wanted to do, but this time I have the experience, and I'm going to try and do my boxing and trying to get it done.
We look forward to it. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow and the rest of the week. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
Our next fighter to the ring, competing Saturday in a scheduled 10-round light heavyweight contest. He comes to us from Santa Clara, Cuba. He brings a professional record of 11 wins, just 1 defeat. 9 of his 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked number 8 by Ring Magazine. He is one of boxing's rising stars. Let's welcome David Morrell.
David Morrell with a nice cross promotion here on DAZN, because following this, ladies and gentlemen, Real Madrid, the jersey he's wearing, will be squaring off against PSG in the semifinal of the Club World Cup here in New York City. Sergio, who you got your money on, Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain?
I have no clue. I don't watch football, Todd.
Any Americans play for either team?
No. Mbappe, though. You got to know Mbappe.
Well, he's got a Bellingham shirt on. I'm a big Bellingham fan.
Yeah. Well, let's focus on the sweet science, Sergio. Obviously, I would say his claim to fame, but he's best known for his fight against David Benavidez. He was on the losing end of a unanimous decision, but he showed spurts of why he's so good and why he can be a great champion one day.
Yeah, absolutely. He was able to put down the Mexican monster, and I think he made a lot of fans, including myself. Because, like you said, Wade, a lot of these Cuban fighters, they have that pedigree, they have that slickness, that sniper style. Most of them southpaws, like you see David Morrell here. But Morrell and plenty other Cubans, like Andy Cruz, they want to be entertainers. They want to go for the knockout. They're so naturally gifted, but now they're going with the power foot, the power first. So Morrell, you can bet that he's going to go looking for a knockout because he wants to steal the show. He has the charisma, he has the speed, he has the power, and the length. 77-inch reach. That's unheard of for a guy in this weight division. So power coming from that length, dangerous mix.
Yeah, man, the Cubans, it's a new generation of Cuban boxing. I've seen it in the last 5, maybe 6 years. There's less emphasis on defense and being passive and being around the outside of the ropes and more on that front foot, power, entertaining, like you said, Sergio, and really looking for knockouts. And I'm loving it. You talked about Andy Cruz. And David Morrell Jr. is the same way. I think he almost gained a lot more fans in the loss to David Benavidez. Rocked David Benavidez. And again, it's a loss at the end of the day. And I talked to him this week. He's not happy about the loss, but he's definitely happy for the opportunities after that fight.
Thank you very much to David Morrell.
Thank you very much. David, you're part of that new generation of Cuban boxers with a lot of explosivity and beautiful footwork, and you sit into your punches. Where do you get that inspiration from? ¿De dónde sacas la inspiración? Porque eres parte de esta nueva generación de boxeadores cubanos explosivos, con excelente trabajo de pies, pero aparte de eso, hay un poco de show en todo eso.
Yeah, of course. You know, my inspiration is coming from my family first, always, and God too. You know, it's my girlfriends is every time support me. My team support me too, like the mini zero. So it's everything. You know, it's everything for me. For these people, have the power for continue. And the boxer and the life and everything.
And in terms of boxing skills, en términos de habilidades boxísticas, what is your biggest influence to combine those two styles, the Cuban school of boxing and basically the more aggressive front foot boxing? La combinación del estilo cubano, de la escuela cubana de boxeo, con un boxeo mucho más agresivo. ¿De dónde viene esa influencia?
It's my older brother. Yeah, my older brother is teaching me, and my dad too. He's teaching me every time, you know, and Alexi, my manager, told me, hey, you can do it, you know, the move, they look good, and the ring. But, you know, you need offense too. So, you know, it's a little bit a combination. Anyways, it's my inspiration too, you know, Shakur Berlanga, Duran, Tyson. So it's like Jojo Jr. So I have it that, you know, little by little, the different boxer is in one boxer like it's me.
Very nice. And I also got a chance to see a little bit of moves, salsa moves. Santa Clara is not known for boxing, for salsa. No. That's Havana. So where did you get those steps from?
No. It's my city, Santa Clara. I say hi everybody, Santa Clara. Toda la gente de Santa Clara, saludo a la gente del condado, los quiero mucho. Bendiciones y nada. You know, I can dance for my mom. You know, my mom is teaching me. They say yes, also teaching me every time. I can do nothing before. You know, my mom say, hey, you go to the party. You want a girl? You need dance. Okay, mom. You know, it's teaching me. For my mom, I have a good life right now.
Nice. So you got the girls and you got the moves, and now you're looking for our way back to the championship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, brother. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next two fighters competing Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome to the ring the challenger, coming to us from Fajardo, Puerto Rico. He brings a professional record consisting of 22 wins, 2 defeats, with all 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked number 6 by Ring Magazine, he is the former IBF super lightweight champion of the world. Let's welcome Subriel, el orgullo de Marternillo, Matias.
Sergio, is just a couple of months ago that we referred to this as the boogeyman. No one wanted to step in there against Subriel Matias, but an Australian guy with a big heart, Liam Paro, said, I can beat this guy in his home country. We had a laugh and thought he put on a good show, but he beat him, Sergio, and that flipped this man's world upside down.
Yeah, that hometown curse came back and bit Matias in the butt, because that's what happens when you try to go looking for the knockout, trying to impress your fans. You forget about the boxing. Liam Paro came with the game plan, executed all the way to the end. Matias learned from that, got embarrassed for that because he was on the biggest stage, came up short in front of his Puerto Rican fans. But the power is back. That knockout ratio is back. The fact that he breaks down fighters. He doesn't go looking just for one punch. He systematically beats down fighters, and that's what we want to see from this boogeyman. I still think he has the boogeyman reputation in him. He just needs to keep the knockout streak going.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Subriel Matias has put down everybody in every win he's ever had. So that's what his go-to is. Now, you're fighting Alberto Puello, who is not going to be a one-punch knockout night for you. You're going to have to figure out that puzzle. And no one has been able to figure out Alberto Puello. He's had some close fights. He's been in some tough fights, but he's a winner, Todd. He is a winner. And for Matias, the same things that plagued him with Paro could plague him here if he hasn't learned, Sergio.
Well, let's just, I asked Subriel Matias, I said, listen, is Liam Paro better than Puello? And his answer was, in no world, in any shape or form, is Liam Paro anywhere near as good as Puello. So what does that say about what Matias has to do Saturday night if he's going to have to beat a guy that is way better than a guy he just lost to?
Listen, he just lost to a southpaw. Puello is a throwback, old school style southpaw. And you can see right here, Subriel Matias shadow boxing in the left-handed stance this entire time. I can expect him to go orthodox and southpaw against Puello. Puello doesn't like fighting on the inside. This man needs to get on the inside. So in order to do that, he's going to have to fight a little bit more squared up. The thing about Matias is he knows how to punch in a little square. He doesn't overload on punches. That actually works. Works really good when you're on the front foot. Matias
Thank you very much
in this fight.
to Subriel, el orgullo de Maternillo, Matias.
The pride of Maternillo, Subriel Matias. Thank you for joining us. Great display, but that doesn't show us the power you actually pack. 22 victories, 22 knockouts. How important is to have that tool right there in your pocket for Saturday? El orgullo de Maternillo está con nosotros. Gracias por estar aquí. Bueno, acabamos de ver un excelente show de lo que tú puedes hacer, pero no nos da una idea de tu poder. 22 victorias, 22 knockouts. Este elemento, ¿qué tan importante es tenerlo en el bolsillo para el sábado?
Pues mira, para serte honesto, los negocios solo son números. Creo que estoy ansioso de enseñar y demostrar la sorpresa que les tengo.
Those are just numbers. I am very anxious and very anticipating the kind of show that I'm going to bring on Saturday. Well, don't leave me hanging. No me dejes aquí colgando. ¿Qué clase de sorpresa nos espera? What kind of surprise is waiting for us? Give me a little hint. Dame un poquito de eso.
No, creo que es simple. I'm the new.
That's it. And the new. Pero dame, o sea, mucha gente quiere saber si todavía puedes boxear, especialmente cuando estás trabajando con alguien que le gusta estar en la distancia. We want to know if you can actually handle somebody that likes to be in the distance. What do you have for somebody like that? ¿Qué tienes para alguien así?
Pues mira, yo realmente tengo un solo estilo. Todos lo saben, aguerrido, al que le gusta el fanático. La pregunta es si Puello está dispuesto a mantener un ritmo de pelea por 12 asaltos como yo lo implanto. No soy Russell, no soy Sandor Martin. Yo tengo mis cojones bien puestos y lo vamos a demostrar el sábado.
Well, I have only one style, and everybody knows it. All the fans love it. And, you know, I am here to actually implement my style. The question is, can somebody like Puello withstand the kind of power that I bring in? I am not Sandor Martin. I'm nobody like that. I'm definitely bringing some serious power, so we'll see. And he insists in the new. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Feliz tarde.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion, coming to us from San Juan de la Maguana in la República Dominicana. He brings an undefeated record with 24 wins, 10 of his 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine. This Saturday, he will be the reigning and defending WBC super lightweight champion of the world. Let's welcome Alberto La Avispa Puello.
Alberto Puello representing the Dominican Republic. Sergio, I want you to weigh in on this. I asked Puello and Matias the same question. I said, what's the difference between Dominican style and Puerto Rican style? Puello said Dominicans have more heart. And Matias said Puerto Ricans have more heart.
You know, that was my question I sent in to the producer, right?
Okay. And now I'm asking you your question. Who has more heart, Dominican fighters, Puerto Rican fighters, or I'll even let you throw in Mexican fighters?
How stupid do you think I am to answer that? No, everyone has heart. If you climb into that ring, you have heart. The difference is who takes a better punch. That's going to be the key. I think Dominicans have better punch resistance. That's the question. Felix Trinidad had dynamite in his hands, but he was a little bit chinny. He would get dropped. Here's the thing about Puerto Ricans. They get up and knock you out. That's what I love seeing about Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. Everyone has their talent. This man's not intimidated by power. He already beat a fighter with a 100% knockout ratio in Gary Antoine Russell. Now he's going to do it again.
By the way, such a massive win for Puello. I was there that night, and not many people gave him a chance in that fight. And he went and took it to Gary Antoine Russell. Again, I talked about it a second ago. I think his biggest quality is he's a winner. He finds ways to win in tough fights. It's not always pretty. It's not a fight that's always glamorous, but he finds ways to win. And I think this is going to be another one of those fights where you have a guy that's a knockout puncher in front of you. It's going to get grimy in there. It's going to get dirty, and he's going to have to find a way to win. And I think he can.
By the way, Sergio, you did know that Wade made his professional boxing debut. Give us a story. You got the win.
I got the win in January. 4-rounder, 10 ounces, no headgear. We were
really?
going at it. Yeah.
So you're 1-0 as a pro?
1-0 as a pro.
You know what? It feels good to be in a broadcast with an actual fighter, unlike this guy right here and the other writer I work with.
Well, as for this man, Alberto Puello, you mentioned he's a winner, Wade. 3 of his last 4 victories have come by way of split decision. Sergio, is this the time that maybe he doesn't get the nod if it's a close one?
I don't think so. And the split decision doesn't worry me. He does enough to win. Sometimes that actually extends career.
Thank you very much to Alberto La Avispa Puello.
La Avispa, the wasp. Great display of movement, but what we don't really get a chance to see is the intangible, the grit, the heart that you actually bring to fights like this. How deep are you going to have to dig to face somebody like your opponent this occasion? Gracias por estar con nosotros. Obviamente la avispa, eso significa muchas cosas. Acabamos de ver excelente movimiento, pero lo que no vemos en esos intangibles. Vamos a hablar de qué tan profundo tú tienes que en realidad entrar en tu alma, en tu espíritu guerrero, para llevarte victorias como la que te vas a tener que llevar el sábado.
Bueno, tú sabes, yo soy un boxeador que me gusta mucho llevar el arte del boxeo, darle que no me dan, pero creo que un oponente como el que tendré este 12 de julio va a sacar la verdadera avispa que traigo por dentro y estoy preparado para eso.
Well, I'm a student of the sweet science of hitting and not getting hit, but I think having an opponent like Subriel Matias on Saturday is going to bring the real wasp from within me to take that win on Saturday. And of course, it's a very important moment for you. You come from straight wins, all by decision, very, very difficult. You actually took those wins from the last minute, but you're in Puerto Rican land. How important is it for you to decide that towards you, to sway the pendulum on your favor? vas a estar obviamente en terreno boricua. Vamos a estar aquí en la cola del pan. ¿Qué tan importante es llevar ese péndulo a tu favor?
Bueno, ¿qué te digo? Terreno boricua, pero también terreno dominicano, ya que acá tenemos muchos dominicanos y sé que voy a estar recibiendo el apoyo de todos ellos. Yo sé que va a ser una guerra y vamos a echar la guerra.
Well, yeah, it is Puerto Rican territory, but it's also Dominican territory because there's a lot of Dominicans here. So I know I'm going to have the support and the love of all the Dominican people. But with that being said, you need to call them out. You need to have them come and support you. Así que te doy la oportunidad para que tú llames a tu gente de allá de la Bella Quisqueya a que venga a apoyarte.
Bueno, hacerle el llamado nuevamente a todo el dominicano acá que venga a apoyarme, compre su taquilla. Le voy a seguir demostrando al mundo por qué la Viva Puello va a seguir siendo campeón y por qué aún lo es.
Well, he's making a good call, a strong call to all the Dominican people to not only to come to see the fight, but also to join us on the zone, because he's going to give them a real reason as to why they need to celebrate him, because he's going to maintain his championship. Gracias, muchas gracias. La mejor de la suerte. Nos vemos mañana. Gracias. Best of luck. See you tomorrow.
Four more workouts to come as the main event fighters step into the ring, so stick with DAZN, which is, of course, the home of boxing.
DAZN, the undisputed global home of boxing, where the greatest fighters take center stage, with fights every week and over 185 a year. And now, the mighty Queensberry joins over 30 worldwide promoters to up the ante like never before, with the best of the best.
The biggest nights.
There's no limits to what's possible. Nobody brings you closer to the action, because if the fight is on, it's on DAZN, the global home of boxing.
It's not just boxing on DAZN. We're the home of the FIFA Club World Cup, and the second semifinal takes place today just a few miles from here, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, as the European champions PSG face Real Madrid for a place in Sunday's final against the Premier League side Chelsea, who were victorious just yesterday. And we roll on here at the Hard Rock in Times Square, New York City, and joining myself now from the Ring Magazine, Mike Coppinger is here. Mike, all right, we're getting set for our double main events. What do you think we'll be saying after the fight about these two main events that we're going to see on Saturday night?
I think we're going to say, Todd, that they both were very competitive fights. I know Shakur Stevenson's a big favorite, but I do expect William Zepeda with his swarming volume pressure style, and if he can execute some good body punching to slow Shakur down and be in a competitive fight. And I think the main event, Todd, is a coin flip between two punchers.
I think body punch is going to be key for Shakur, actually, Mike, because, you know, he's very cheetah-like going in and out, and Zepeda's going to want to break that distance. Whenever you have an iron chin Mexican, you don't test them in the chin, you test them in the body. Just like Whitaker did against Chavez when they fought. You don't want to go try to, you know, crack that granite chin, but the liver doesn't have the liver doesn't have granite.
There you go.
The liver doesn't have granite, so I think that's going to be key for Shakur. And as far as the main event, Berlanga's going to have to show up. He's going to have to show out. He's going to have to go for the knockout, and he carries that power late. He's going to have opportunities, and I think he gets it late in this fight.
All right, so all four athletes that will be competing in the double main event are about to make the walk right now. And for the introductions, we send it back to Thomas Driver.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in the first of our double main event. They will be competing in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome to the ring the challenger, coming to us from San Mateo Atenco, Mexico. He brings an undefeated record with 33 wins, 27 of his 33 wins coming by way of knockout. Ranked number 3 by Ring Magazine. Let's welcome now the undefeated challenger, William El Camarón Zepeda.
El Camarón, which is the shrimp. Sergio, they call him that because as a kid, after long workouts in the hot sun, he would turn pink, and they said, hey, you look like a shrimp. And apparently he liked the name, and he stuck with it.
Hey, he probably loves shrimp cocktails, too, because Mexicans love shrimp cocktails. I do it myself. But this man is a swarmer, man. And look, out of all those 5 out of 6 of his last opponents have been southpaws. That's going to work to his advantage. The fact that he's facing the elite southpaw in Shakur Stevenson. So not only the experience, the volume, the power, the conditioning, the chin, all this is on the side of a Mexican. But can the footwork, the accuracy, the IQ, the Olympic background, that's Stevenson on the hand. It's going to come down to, can he break that range? Can he find a home to get inside? And of course, dig those body shots.
Look, I don't think William Zepeda is being given enough credit. Everyone says that he hasn't faced anybody, and look, that's true. But what I look at is, right, Sergio, Maxi Hughes, Giovanni Cabrera, even to a lesser extent, Marcelo Hester. Those are solid guys that he took out in fashion.
Why he did it because of the volume, and he was able to break the distance. But what they don't have is the cat-like reflexes of Shakur. Fighters like that don't want to get hit. That's the criticism that Stevenson takes, that he doesn't stay in the pocket or exchange with opponents. That's a man that relishes exchanges and combinations. Shakur's going to take that away from him.
Let me ask you this, Sergio. With all the skills Shakur has, there's a lot of different ways he can win this fight. Is it plan A or bust for Zepeda? Is there anything else he can do other than just swarm and belt you with punch after punch?
That's all he knows. That's his character. That's his MO. So, yeah, I think he just has one gear, plan A, and that's aggression, coming forward. And if Shakur is able to take that and extinguish that aggression in the early rounds, especially in the first 3-4 rounds, then the success is going to come easier and easier for the boxer. But the first 3 rounds, if this man doesn't land any body shots, he's in for a long night.
Yeah, I agree with Sergio. I think Zepeda has to jump out of the gate to a fast start. He can't let Shakur Stevenson develop into a rhythm with his jab and his footwork. And look, Shakur Stevenson, he fights like Floyd Mayweather. Obviously, he's not on Mayweather's level, and Zepeda's not on the level of Maidana and Castillo. But that's what I look at here. If Zepeda can kind of emulate Castillo and Maidana in those fights against Mayweather, he has a real shot. I want to see him pushing Shakur into clinch, maybe some dirty tactics. He has to be the bigger, stronger bully in there.
Rough tactics. I hate the word dirty because if you can get away with it, then do it. So rough tactics. That's
our motto in all of life, isn't it?
Absolutely. Look, Evander Holyfield used his head. Timothy Bradley used his head. These are Hall of Famers. So are you gonna? That's right. You in the street. But look, that's the thing, man. If you can get away with it, with rough tactics, get on the inside and wrestle, maybe even borderline shots. Bernard Hopkins was the king of borderline shots. Then you get away with what you can get away with. This man, if he breaks that range and is able to start landing punches on the shoulder, on the biceps, on the hips, they don't have to be clear. That's success for a Mexican style. So the early round's going to be very crucial.
Yeah, I think Zepeda has to maul Shakur Stevenson. He has to be all over him, and he has to be ripping shots to the body. I think Zepeda will have learned a lot from those 22 rounds with Tevin Farmer. I think it's lazy to look at Tevin Farmer getting knocked out in one round by Schofield and saying, oh, well, Zepeda couldn't do much against Tevin Farmer in 22 rounds. How is he going to do anything with Shakur? That's not how this works.
All right, so William Zepeda has finally stopped throwing punches, but don't expect him to do that on Saturday night. That is what he is known for as he steps over to speak with Claudia.
Thank you very much to William El Camarón Zepeda.
Thank you, Todd. So we've had a lot of fighters that are influenced by the Mexican style, the Puerto Rican style. You, on the other hand, have the typical Mexican style, but you've been influenced by the Cuban school of boxing. How has that changed your style? Tenemos muchos boxeadores que están obviamente influenciados por el estilo mexicano, el estilo boricua, pero tú eres todo lo contrario, con un estilo muy depurado mexicano, pero has incluido la escuela cubana de boxeo. ¿Cómo ha cambiado eso tu estilo?
No, pues ha sido un beneficio muy importante para mi carrera, ya que hemos combinado ese estilo mexicano, pero también el cubano. Entonces, creo que eso es lo que me ha ayudado a llegar hasta donde estoy. Mis entrenadores me han enriquecido de muchos aspectos técnicos que, pues, aquí estamos.
¿Cómo cuáles?
Pues más mantener la distancia, pero también buscar la pelea, el trabajar al cuerpo, hacer combinaciones, pero largas. Entonces, creo que eso es lo que nos ha beneficiado.
Yeah, that style has definitely benefited me in my career, and that's one of the reasons why my trainers have actually helped me to get to where I'm at. And he specifically mentioned that the combinations make them nice and long, and obviously be able to fight in the distance and also let the opponent come into the short. With that being said, on Saturday, you're fighting somebody that's very fast, very agile, with a lot of mobility. What will your style be able to do in order to neutralize that? Vas a enfrentar un oponente con alta movilidad, con mucha agilidad. De tu estilo, ¿qué vas a utilizar para poder neutralizar eso?
Bueno, pues nuestro estilo es lo que nos va a beneficiar aquí ante un rival como lo es Shakur. Creo que el volumen de golpes es lo que nos va a sacar a flote, esa presión que caracteriza el camarón es lo que nos va a beneficiar, entonces hay que dar una buena pelea.
Well, definitely my style is going to be able to be implemented. Shakur is a fighter that will always be moving, but my punch volume is going to be the one that's going to put pressure on him, and that's going to be the key to success on Saturday. And just before I let you go, Mexico just took the Gold Cup. So soccer and boxing have been basically religion in Mexico. How does that motivate you? México acaba de ganar la Copa de Oro, boxeo y el fútbol van de la mano. ¿Cómo te motiva eso?
No, pues es una gran motivación. Ahorita que nuestros paisanos hayan tenido una buena victoria ante Estados Unidos en el fútbol, creo que eso me motiva a también tener una buena victoria en el boxeo ante Estados Unidos.
Well, this is a great motivation because, of course, my fellow Mexicans have taken a very important win against the U.S., so that motivates him to take a win on Saturday in Mexico against the U.S. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much. Nos vemos mañana.
And now let's welcome to the ring the defending world champion from Newark, New Jersey, a 2016 Olympic silver medalist, now undefeated as a professional with 23 wins, 11 of those 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine. This Saturday, he will be the reigning and defending WBC lightweight champion of the world. Here is Shakur Stevenson.
You know, there have been some great rivalries all time in boxing. Ali Frazier, Bo Holyfield, Gotti Ward, and now we've got Shakur versus Coppinger. What is going on, Mike? Every interview he seems to talk about you. You're posting memes about him. Where did this beef come from between you two?
No beef on my part, Todd. You know how it is. A lot of fighters can't take the truth. All I had said a couple of months ago when Shakur complained about not being in the main event, he said, why? And I said, well, your last 2 main events, fans walked out of the fights because they were so boring. That's not an opinion, that's a fact.
Sergio, your thoughts on whose side are you on here, Shakur or Mike Coppinger?
Come on, Mike's right next to me, but I love the fact that Shakur was actually standing up for himself. So look, on this one, I'm going to go with Stevenson. I'm sorry, Mike.
Hey, Sergio's used to losing, so.
Thank you, Shakur Stevenson.
With your WBC lightweight champion of the world, Shakur Stevenson. Again, you're in your backyard here. We're getting closer to fight night. Just give me the emotions, the feelings right now.
I'm locked in. I'm ready. I'm focused. I can't wait to show out. I was made for this moment, so I can't wait to show everybody what I'm made of.
When you say you were made for this moment, you have William Zepeda, a big volume fighter. Everybody talking about how the fight's going to go. Are you going to bring the fight to him? Is he going to bring the fight to you? What do you think as we stand here today, as you visualize the fight? How's it go down?
You got to wait and see. He got a big head, so I can't wait to touch his chin. But that's all that I'm focused on. I'm focused on doing my thing and coming out of there victorious.
You got your friend Mike Coppinger standing by over there as well. He's had some things to say as we got into this fight week, and he works for Mike Coppinger.
Now I don't got too much to say. Fuck him.
Fair. Anything you want to say to the fans here at home before we get into this title fight on Saturday?
For the fans who've been supporting me, I appreciate y'all. Y'all the ones who I do it for. Y'all the ones who I get up and make sure I do them 8-mile runs. And the hard work get put in because of y'all, because y'all stuck with me through my dark times. So I appreciate y'all. We're going to have a party on Saturday.
One more time, folks. Give it up for your WBC lightweight champion, Shakur Stevenson.
Our next 2 fighters competing in Saturday's double main event in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the super middleweight division, and it is a WBC final elimination bout. First, let's welcome coming to us from Ilford, Essex, England. Undefeated with 21 wins, 1 draw, 17 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated former European and Commonwealth middleweight champion and former world title challenger, Hamzah Sheeraz.
So Shakur Stevenson elected not to really do anything in this media workout. And here comes Hamzah Sheeraz, hands taped. Sergio looks like he's ready to get in there and fight right now.
Yeah, normally this is just, for the fans. You want to shadow box, you're not really hitting the mitts really hard. You're not really turning your punches. More of a workout, more for the press. This man means business, man. He's here to fight. I love the fact that he's taking this moment serious. He's been very classy. Yes, he has. But now he's going to have to get mean. He's going to have to get in fight mode the closer he gets to Saturday night, because that's the only question that we have about Hamzah Sheeraz coming off his last performance.
What do you think of the partnership now, Hamzah Sheeraz and Andy Lee?
I think it's a great move for Hamzah Sheeraz. He was with Ricky Fuentes before this in California. Now he's in Dublin. And I asked Hamzah Sheeraz earlier this week about the advantage of having a former world champion in his corner. He's feeling confident, and we saw the kind of work Andy Lee has done, Sergio, with Joseph Parker.
Andy Lee deserves more credit as a trainer. He will get Trainer of the Year. He was a former world champion. He's going to be a great cornerman, but he brings strategy. And the fact that this man is a tall, lanky puncher, just like Andy Lee was, but from that southpaw stance, so it makes sense stylistically. Hamzah Sheeraz is going to have to fight from the outside. He's going to have to keep and control the distance and the pressure of Berlanga. Berlanga's going to want to get in the inside, mix it up, loop the shots over the top. That's another thing that Sheeraz is going to have to watch out for. The around the glove punches. Everything's not going to come forward and straight. That's what Adames has success is. You can bet that a trainer like Andy Lee prepared for that strategy, and they got him ready for this fight.
Yeah, look, for Edgar Berlanga, we know what he's going to bring to the table. There's no surprises. He's going to be winging bombs in there. He's going to be coming forward. But Berlanga hasn't really been able to show that power on the top level. Obviously, Canelo Alvarez is on this level, but Hamzah Sheeraz is a level above most of Berlanga's opponents.
If you were fighting as Hamzah Sheeraz, how would you approach Berlanga, especially in the early few rounds? We know he has 16 first-round knockouts.
I'll be honest with you. I would go Berlanga. I would go to him early. I would go after him like I'm gonna make it a war, and then take that war away from him. So I would say the first 2 rounds, come out aggressive. Punch and dip. Don't exchange with Berlanga with 2s and 3 punch combinations. One hard one, dip, clinch, walk him back. That's another thing. Bullies hate being walked backwards. They like to be on the front foot. So if Sheeraz was able to clinch and walk this bully back, walk the monster back, show him who's the boss in there, these are the tactics I want to see early from that man right there.
Yeah, I'm with Sergio. I want to see Sheeraz light on his feet. I think he should be turning Berlanga. And Berlanga's not a guy that's going to fight going backward. Push him back, like Sergio said. Pump his jab out and reset.
What did we learn about him in that fight against Adames? He said he hurt his hand. He started well, but then just kind of seemed to lose himself, and many thought he was lucky to get a draw.
He definitely was lucky to get a draw. I think he lost that fight, and I want to see how the weight helps him. You see some fighters lose their power when they go up in weight. I think Sheeraz is going to have more power at this higher weight. Look how big he is now hitting the pads. He's going to be better at 168.
At his height, I never could believe how big he was at middleweight. That's the division that I fought in. I was pretty tall for a middleweight. This man is huge.
Reminds you of Zerto Ramirez, obviously, who's to fight in this weight class.
Exactly, because they have the height, they have the wide shoulders, so they're able to distribute that weight and still look muscular, still look in shape. I think 168 is a natural fit for him. He could possibly even go higher to light heavyweight. But first things first, he needs to dominate an already hard-punching, natural super middleweight in Berlanga.
I think Terrence Carver's another great example. Terrence Carver at 135 and 140 was not a crushing puncher. At 147, he knocked out all 7 or 8 of his opponents. Then you look at Teofimo Lopez, 135, he's a devastating puncher. At 140, he doesn't seem to have much power at all.
Also, David Benavidez has gone up. He's struggled to put people away as well. But as far as Hamzah Sheeraz, Mike, if he does win this fight and wins decisively against Berlanga, how high will his stock rise?
Look, I think he has all the ingredients to be a star. He has the British audience behind him. He's a great talker. He looks the part. He has a lot of class. And if Sheeraz can win this fight, Todd, I think you have to put him at the top of the line for a shot at Canelo next year.
Interesting note here. All of the fighters usually get lined up right before the fighter's done with the open workout. Edgar Berlanga has elected to stay backstage. He said, I don't even want to see this guy throwing punches. I don't want to be anywhere around him.
Hey, listen, Berlanga carries himself like a superstar. And sometimes a little too overconfident, but that's what makes Berlanga. You know, he doesn't mind being hated. So he wants to play that bad guy. I love the fact that, you know, he fights on his terms. He comes out on his time. And that's a natural swagger that you can't learn. You can't teach the things.
Let's send it down to Wade.
Thank you very much to Hamzah Sheeraz.
And I'm here with Hamzah Sheeraz, getting the hand wraps off as we do this interview. Just walk me through what you wanted to show the people there in that open workout.
Just a little bit of what I've been practicing on. This is my first time I've ever actually done pads at an open workout. Yeah. So it was interesting. It was good.
You were cracking the pads there. You wanted to show some power to the people here in New York.
First time in New York, why not?
Makes sense. Now, I want to talk to you about change, right? A lot of change. You moving up in weight. You with the great Andy Lee in Ireland now. How is that going to affect this fight in a good way going into Saturday night?
I identified after the last fight the changes that I felt needed to be made. And Andy and the move up in weight was one of them.
Talk to me about the face-off that happened right back here yesterday. It was a long, intense face-off. Some words were exchanged. What did you see and what did you feel in that moment?
Where you got to remember now, it's been a camp where a couple of days from the fight night, tensions are high. We just want to go in there and get cracking.
Anything you read from him in that face-off?
Not really, not really. Energy as I expected, and hopefully we both bring it fight night.
You know, tomorrow the gamesmanship's going to be on in that press conference. How do you prepare mentally for whatever Edgar Berlanga brings?
To be fair, I don't need to. I'm a very strong man in my faith, so I've done exactly what I needed to prepare, and here I am now.
So what's the message here to the fans in New York, to the fans back home, everybody watching your moment on Saturday night? What's your message to them?
Listen, tune in, and for the New York fans, it's my first one here in America. I look forward to putting on a performance for you all. Thank you very much.
There he is, folks. Give it up one more time. One half of your main event, Hamzah Sheeraz.
And now let's welcome to the ring with a record of 23 wins, just one defeat, 18 of his 23 wins coming by way of knockout. A former world title challenger, he is from the Lower East Side of Brooklyn, New York, and proudly represents his heritage of Puerto Rico. Here is the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga.
Did you see how cool that Hamzah Sheeraz was, just leaning back on the ropes so lackadaisical? I feel like if you went to the zoo and you see two male lions in the cage, there's usually one that's just chilling and relaxed, and the other one's just pacing the cage in circles, just wanting to rip anyone's head off. I think that's what we got here. Two big alpha lions that just approach the fight game completely differently.
Absolutely, Todd. Like you said yesterday, this is class versus class. And I think I want to see Hamzah Sheeraz use Berlanga's aggression against him in this fight.
And sometimes the quiet lion is the dangerous lion. You know, like they say here in New York, you know, bad boys move in silence and violence. Hamzah Sheeraz, man, has something up his sleeve, and I love that confident look in his eye.
I don't know. I kind of prefer the guy that tells you what he's going to do and then does it. What do you like? I like the braggadocio, the Muhammad Ali's of the world. That's the kind of fighters that I want to get inspired by.
Those are my favorites as well. Mike Tyson, James Toney, Zab Judah. But there's a second part of that. You said say it and then do it. He has to do it now on Saturday night.
If you're going to walk the walk, you better talk the talk, because then you're just going to be a big mouth. But look, a lot of fighters from New York, a lot of them, you can go down the champion, they can back it up. They can back up what they preach, you know. So Berlanga needs to prove it, because he didn't really prove it against Canelo. So now he has a second opportunity to really prove a lot of haters wrong and talk out that big mouth.
But you know what? A lot of people, he's taking a lot of shots from people like, you're throwing yourself a parade, you're celebrating your loss. But at the same time, if he can turn that loss into a moral victory in his own mind, isn't that a positive thing, Mike?
I think that could be powerful for him and his confidence, yes. But this is like a throwback Crossroads HBO fight for me. I know that Crossroads later in their careers, but early, if one of these guys loses, whoever loses on Saturday, I think they're going to be in a bad spot.
I agree, because you know when you're only given a certain amount of opportunities on the big stage, and if the first time you really didn't go for greatness, then they're not going to give you another slot. Berlanga is lucky to have a great manager in Keith Conley, a great promoter, you know, they're backing him and giving him opportunities, and he has the power. So people are always going to want to watch power punchers that put opponents down, that go for the knockout, that have an exciting style, and like we're talking about, he has that Brooklyn swagger and that big mouth to back up that big punch.
Talking about Hamzah Sheeraz and how big he is, look at the size of Berlanga. Berlanga, I think, could easily fight at 175 or even cruiserweight in the future. And you look at his face right now, I don't think it's an easy weight cut for him.
Is that Isak Cruz in there with Berlanga right now? Sorry, Pitbull. Just a little joke. Good to see Edgar Berlanga bringing the family on board. Good to see the softer side of the man who represents Puerto Rico but fights out of Brooklyn, New York. And Sergio, he keeps hyping up this as a home fight for him. He says the crowd is going to be electrifying. There's no way Sheeraz is going to be able to beat me in front of my people. You fought in front of your home crowd before. Sometimes it doesn't go the way you want.
No, you can ask any fighter. I mean, it backfired on Katie Taylor. It backfired on Subriel Matias. It backfired on me plenty of times. There's something about too much pressure because you want to go out there and have the best performance for your hometown fans. But when you go looking for the knockout, that's when you are vulnerable to getting hit and getting knocked out. So Berlanga, I think, learned from that Canelo fight. I think he's going to check that swagger. He's going to check that bad boy, braggadocious way about him. And if he can just go out there and maintain his discipline, go for the knockout and still get it, then that's how you prove your point to everybody.
So Edgar Berlanga winding things down, our final fighter of the media workout today, as he gets set to take on Hamzah Sheeraz in the main event, live from the Louis Armstrong Stadium of the U.S. Open Tennis Center in Queens, New York. First time a fight's ever been there. Mike, why choose that venue, do you think?
I think it's a great venue. It's going to look great on TV. I think tennis centers are often some of the best boxing venues. My favorite boxing venue is StubHub Center, and I think now it's called the Dignity Health Center or whatever it is in LA. I think it's going to be a great sightlines and great atmosphere, Todd.
Thank you very much to the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga.
Give it up, folks. Come on over here, Edgar. A very interesting open workout there. I saw the hooks, I saw the uppercuts. What was that other move that you were doing there?
That's what I'm going to do to Sheeraz.
Okay. Okay, one of those. You might have to teach me. I'm not too well versed in that area, so. Yeah.
Hit.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, yo. So when we do this open workout, it's a great amount of fun. We had family in the ring here. Who was that little man that was walking around?
That's my baby Chosen. That's nice. Chosen Berlanga.
You've been teaching him a little bit.
Yeah, he's learning something. Yeah. You know, he loves boxing.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Well, talk to me about what obviously you're having fun in this open workout, but what your intentions are on Saturday. It's been very calm leading up so far, but as the days get closer, things get more intense. How are you feeling as we're just days away now?
You know, just locked in, man. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm back home in my city. You know, tomorrow's the press conference. So every day, you know, as we get closer to fights, more I'm getting locked in mentally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I want to perform. I want to look good. I want to shine. Superstar status, you know what I'm saying? Sharp, you know, look amazing.
Speaking of tomorrow at the press conference, there's been some talk about you and Oscar De La Hoya getting to see each other face-to-face in person. Any words for Oscar?
Fuck Oscar De La Hoya. Fuck you. I'm going to see you tomorrow. We're going to smack the shit out of you tomorrow. So.
Okay, then. Well, let's talk about the fight itself.
Fuck Oscar.
There you go. The fight itself.
Fuck Oscar.
On Saturday, you're going to be using your hands against Hamzah Sheeraz.
Fuck Sheeraz, too.
Any last message for him?
He's a fucking Muppet.
You went with the UK one. Okay, I like that.
He's a Muppet, for sure.
What would y'all say in New York? Not Muppet. What would you say?
Oh, he's a dick eater.
Oh, okay, never mind. Hey, I appreciate you. Edgar Berlanga, one half of your main event. You'll see him on Saturday. Let's go.
You couldn't just let him say Muppet. You had to dig deep. Way digging deep. Couldn't just let him get away with Muppet. Oh, well. Hey, we're getting ready for a huge fight night on Saturday, but the following weekend, just as big, if not bigger. Take a look at this.
Live only on the Zone. Usyk versus Dubois 2. July 19th. He silenced Britain's best. Usyk, the Brit Breaker. Fighting for greatness, for the flag, for legacy. But now, the dynamite is ready to explode. Dubois, reborn, sharper, stronger. A weight of a nation on his shoulders. July 19th. Wembley roars beneath the lights. Who will become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? Usyk versus Dubois 2. Live only on the Zone. Buy now at thezone.com/boxing.
That huge heavyweight showdown just a week away, and later that same night in Dallas, Bam Rodriguez and Fumelele Cafu. And then in August, we go back to Riyadh for Moses Itamwa versus Dillian White. You talk about some heavy hitters. What do you think happens, by the way, Usyk Dubois 2, Mike? What's your pick?
I think it's going to be another stoppage for Usyk, and set the record straight, Todd. That was not a low, it was a low blow. There's no doubt that it was a low blow.
It was or it wasn't?
It was a low blow.
I agree. It was a beltline low blow. I've been maintaining that from beginning to end.
It was an uppercut right to the cup.
And you like Usyk as well in the rematch?
I like Usyk by stoppage as well. Absolutely.
All right, before we say goodbye here, let's just kind of wrap up what we saw here with our media workouts. Which fighter kind of tickled your fancy today?
Tickled my fancy. Okay, you muppet. Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga, I like the way he's kind of tapering down that attitude, but he still has that chip on his shoulder, that bad boy. He's still selling the fight, but I like the calm composure that I'm seeing now in the shadow boxing.
I'm going to go with my best friend, Shakur Stevenson. He didn't even bother to work out. He seems more focused on me than he does William Zepeda. Let's hope he brings it on fight night. I believe him.
All right, well, we hope you bring it back here to DAZN tomorrow as we get set for the press conference, and then the following day it'll be weigh-in and then fight night on Saturday live here from New York City. Until then, for Mike, Sergio, Claudia, and Wade, I'm Todd Grisham. So long from Times Square and the Hard Rock.
Live, only on DAZN, July 12th. Ring 3, Berlanga versus Sheeraz and Stevenson versus Zepeda. They're in their prime, they're hungry, and they're done being called the future. Berlanga versus Sheeraz, Stevenson versus Zepeda. Ring 3, live, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
This is the moment the world has been waiting for. The judges are ready. The fighters are ready.
you.